Climate crisis, 11,000 scientists warn of untold suffering. 11,000 scientists gathered at a kegger and were like, let's talk about the untold suffering. And everyone was like, this is really a drag and a pretty lame party, quite frankly. Statement sets out vital signs as indicators of the magnitude of the climate emergency. The world's people face untold suffering due to climate crisis unless there are major transformations to global society, according to a stark warning from more than 11,000 scientists. We declare clearly and unequivocally that planet Earth is facing a climate emergency. To secure a sustainable future, we must change how we live. This entails transformations in the ways our global society functions and interacts with natural ecosystems. There is no time to lose. The climate crisis has arrived and is accelerating faster than most climate scientists expected. It is very severe. All right. So this statement was published in the Journal of Bioscience, so nobody will read it. You know, and again, this should be the headline everywhere, every day. At least the Guardian's reporting on this. But this should be, you know, when they do those dumb TikToker things at the bottom of screens and on cable news, it should just be like climate emergency. We need to act now. We are grossly behind. And by the way, the Trump administration has officially begun pulling out of the Paris Agreement. What little things we were doing, we're trying to unroll that when we are behind schedule. We have an emergency. We had an emergency yesterday. But instead, stuff like that is just published in academic journals, which, with all due respect, I'm not trying to bash academic journals, but the reality is hardly anybody reads those. It's going to be read by a group of your peers. I have been published in an academic journal myself. I guarantee that has been read by 5 people. Maybe. And honestly, I haven't read the fucking thing. You can find it if you look hard enough. Google my name, Ron Placone, and the Journal of Contemporary Rhetoric, and I'm pretty sure you will find my article. It's still floating out there somewhere. But anyway, okay. So scientists say that the urgent changes needed include ending population growth, leaving fossil fuels in the ground, halting forest destruction, and slashing meat eating. Professor William Ripple of Oregon State University and the lead author of the statement said he was driven to initiate it by the increase in extreme weather he was seeing. Okay. So here is the troubling signs. Air transport, billions of passengers increasing. Meat production increasing. World population increasing. Encouraging signs, divestments, assets divested from fossil fuels is increasing from 2013 till now. Carbon pricing increasing, and fertility rate, births per women, is decreasing. A broader set of indicators should be monitored, including human population growth, meat consumption, tree cover loss, energy consumption, fossil fuel subsidies, and annual economic losses due to extreme weather events. Other profoundly troubling signs from human activity selected by the scientists include booming air passenger numbers and world GDP growth. The climate crisis is closely linked to excessive consumption of the wealthy lifestyle, they said. As a result of these human activities, there are especially disturbing trends of increasing land and ocean temperatures, rising sea levels, and extreme weather events, the scientists said. Despite 40 years of global climate negotiations, with few exceptions, we have largely failed to address this predicament. Especially worrisome are the potential irreversible climate tipping points. These climate chain reactions could cause significant disruptions to ecosystems, society, and economies, potentially making large areas of Earth uninhabitable. Okay, so here are some of the needed actions. Now, one critique I'll have of this right here, they seem to focus on a lot of individual actions here. The reality of the situation, though, and I'm pretty sure these scientists know this, the most polluting companies on the planet, factory farms, Amazon, the oil and gas companies, they need to be stopped. That's the biggest thing here. That's the biggest thing. They need to be stopped. Somebody who takes a vacation once a year and gets on a plane for it, if they stop doing that, that's not a big picture solution here. You know, I mean, if you can minimize the amount you fly, that's great. That's cool. I'm not saying that's not a good thing to do. You know, try to seek as many energy efficient transportation solutions as you can. And I am somebody who does have to travel for a job. That's part of how I make my living. And I do the best I can on that. I take trains when I can. I seek alternative solutions when I can, as often as I can. So I get all that, and that's all well and good. But if we don't stop these polluting companies and seek better overall solutions, then these are barely drops in the bucket compared to what these companies are doing. All right, so here's the urgently needed actions according to this article. Use energy far more efficiently and apply strong carbon taxes to cut fossil fuel use. Now, again, this has got to be applied on the companies. We got to stop the drilling. We got to stop the fossil fuel use. We got to end these companies' reigns. Stabilize global population, currently growing by 200,000 people a day, using ethical approaches such as longer education for girls. I'm not sure what that sentence means exactly. Stabilize global using ethical approaches such as longer education for girls. Okay. And the destruction of nature and restore forests and mangroves to absorb CO2. Now, again, these are the companies. We have to end deforestation that these companies are doing. Eat mostly plants and less meat and reduce food waste. And while we're at it, let's end factory farming. Let's reinvest in the way we do our agriculture. We shouldn't be consuming the meat from factory farming anyway. It is unhealthy. It is immoral. And it's just really gross. All right. Shift economic goals away from GDP growth. The good news is that such transformative change with social and economic justice for all promises far greater human well-being than does business as usual. If we did all this, we'd have healthier lives. In short, if we did all this, we'd have healthier lives. But again, the main polluters, the main culprits are these huge corporations. They're the ones we cannot allow them to pursue business as usual. It's awesome that we do as much as we can as individuals. It's awesome to recycle. It's awesome to compost. I do all those things. I'm sure you do too. It's awesome to be mindful of your diet. Those are all great things. Those are all great things that we're doing as individuals, and that's great. But if these companies do nothing, we're still screwed. If we allow these companies to operate as usual, we're still screwed. Just saying. So to make it out like it's all on people with no power is absolutely ridiculous. All right. But anyway, interesting perspective. Thank you for sharing this, Edwin.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your news on with Ron.